it is no secret that the Oklahoma City Thunder have been rumored to have interest in Evan Mobley for a long time. They have been a team that in the draft the year Evan Mobley was taken had reportedly offered a Godfather offer for Evan Mobley. We saw this most recent report after the Game 7 loss that the Thunder are not expected to pursue Giannis, but they have expressed interest in Evan Mobley. Now, they made Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals without Jalen Williams, without A.J. Mitchell, two of their top 3 playmakers, who were out. So it got me thinking, what could a possible Mobley to OKC trade look like if that is an avenue the Cavs wanted to go down? So the numbers are a little wonky because the second apron and the new contract extension for Jalen Williams doesn't kick in till July 1st when the calendar turns. But the framework of something like this is the framework.
Yeah.
Mix and match small pieces to get the money to equal out. All that. Both these teams are currently in the second apron. They won't be after the Harden extension. So once again, you got to mix and match when you see this proposal. But it would look something like this. Evan Mobley to OKC for Jalen Williams, the guard Jalen Williams, not the big Jalen Williams, the guard Jalen Williams. Lou Dort, who's entering the final year of his contract, and they have 1 million picks. I thought the 17th pick in this year's draft was more attractive to the Cavs than a 2029, 2030, 2031 first-round pick would be. So something like that. Guard/wing Jalen Williams, guard Lou Dort on an expiring contract, and a first-round pick in this year's draft. The Thunder have 12 and 17. You get the worst of those two picks in exchange for Evan Mobley.
Yep.
Guys, A, would you do it? And B, would it put the Cavs in a better position to win a title in today's era of the NBA than if they stuck with Evan Mobley and Jared Allen moving forward? Jay, what say you?
I don't think so. I don't think it's enough. And I'm not in the camp that Evan Mobley is going to win us the championship. I'm not there. I tried to get there the last couple of years. After watching, I've made the deductive reason that our championship hopes do not hinge on him. Now, I hate to refer to him as a piece, but if you're not the centerpiece, then you're a piece. And he's a valuable piece. And I do think that there are teams that would give up a haul to get him. Mike, I'd like to think that he's worth more than that.
It depends on how you value Jalen Williams. Because I would argue Jalen Williams might be a better player than Evan Mobley.
Well, now here's the thing. If you believe that, and I don't, but if you believe that, then you make the deal. Because basically it's a 1-for-1. The 17 doesn't change anybody's life. Mm-mm. And Dort, he is what he is. So I think that, and maybe I've been listening to you guys for too long, but I would like to think that that on the open market, Evan Mobley would be worth more than a swap for Jalen Williams. Maybe I've overvalued him in this discussion.
Jason, what do you think?
Man, come on, McNuggets. You thought you was going to get this. You try to sneak this by us, man. First of all, hey, man, I'm like Jay, man. First of all, no, Evan Mobley is not, I think, going to be the centerpiece of a championship run. But however, there's 3 reasons why I'm not making this move at all. One, how many games did Jalen Williams play in the playoffs?
He was a All-NBA guy last year. He dealt with hamstring injuries, hamstring injuries all season. And I think he only played, I'll give you the exact number right now, but he played 3,000 total minutes last year. He played 1,000 total minutes this year.
That's a red flag.
5 playoff games this year.
One red flag. Also, I don't know how good he is. Like, when you were SGA, when you were Chet Holmgren, when you with Lou Dort to take up the defensive matchups, and you got firepower coming off the bench, nobody's going to say we're going to load up and stop Jalen Williams. So I need to extrapolate and say, okay, it kind of reminds me of James Harden. Nobody knew how good James Harden was until the Rockets took a chance on him because they had KD, they had Westbrook. They even Serge Ibaka was rated kind of a higher, same type player, but we didn't know what it was. The second reason that I can't make this move is it ain't enough in that package. That 17 is minimowski.
That's what I said.
You get outside the top 8, like that's a crapshoot. Lou Dort is a high role player, and if you plug Jalen Williams into this lineup, that don't really. I mean, okay.
You take Evan Mobley out of it.
And you take so I think Mobley obviously is a better defensive player. And then here's the third reason. They're gonna have okay. I'm not about to gift the Thunder no more window years, bro. If you give Evan Mobley to the Oklahoma City Thunder, do you know what a front line of Evan Mobley, Hartenstein, and Chet Holmgren look like? Chet Holmgren and Mobley, like, good luck with that. What are you talking about? They can switch everything. They got bigs that can shoot. Like, nah, bro, we're not gonna be able to do that. We can't do that. That just refreshes their whole situation. The only way they know that they could beat now, because Wemby is on the rise.
That's what I was thinking.
They trying to get. We need double bigs.
Every move they make is how do we get past Wemby?
Every move anyone makes now.
Yeah, but especially OKC, because their window is. They're still, I think, in the front part of their window.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And,
they have like 20
they've got a lot of runway to go.
They're
they
fine.
removed the window.
They might have broke the window.
It's always open.
I mean, now it's
don't
just
close.
They blew the wall off the house.
The fact that Oklahoma City is even in this trade scenario, and like we trying to get.
I think the rest of the league might go bananas if this trade was made.
Give them home. Come on, big
Jason. What do you say? I'm curious what you say here, because
I think you guys are underplaying Jalen, first of all.
Oh, I like him.
Yeah.
I love him.
I think
like
he's
him.
significantly better than what he's been made out to be
Is he
over the
better
last
than
4
Evan Mobley?
minutes. Well, it's hard to compare. He can create.
Yeah, we know that.
He can shoot and he can create, and that's something that this
he's
team
also
needs.
arguably
He's
the
long.
third best wing defender in basketball when healthy.
Yeah, and
Who scored 40 points in an NBA Finals
But
game last year.
you're giving up your middle presence.
But I here's where I think I would fall on it. Like, hey, they did make a Godfather offer. That Oklahoma City, that's been out for a few years. We wrote about that a couple years ago, that OKC was hot after Evan a few years ago and gave him a Godfather offer, and the Cavs said no. And now Sam, my colleague, is reporting that they're kind of circling back around. OKC is the best team in the league, I think you would say, at identifying talent. And if they are beating down the door that badly for him, what does that tell you?
Well, it tells me the Cavs have not scratched the surface with them.
I think,
because if you're saying that because OKC likes him that he must be that great, he hasn't been that great here, then that's a Cavs development problem.
well, but I don't want to. I hear what you're saying. I can't totally disagree, but I think the Cavs have done a great job of identifying, draft, and developing guys.
Yes.
I wonder how, like, the biggest deficiency. I kind of gave up on this a couple years ago. Like we talked about it, I think, in the early creation of this show, and then I just stopped talking about it because it wasn't going to change. The Cavs' biggest deficiency has always been on the wing. They have never. It's the most important position in the NBA. And the Cavs have always built around it without really filling that spot. When you're talking about Dean Wade and Jalen Tyson's had a great run early, but he's a young player.
They tried with DeAndre Hunter, it didn't work.
Tried with DeAndre Hunter. I just wonder what Evan would look like if you had one or two long athletic wings playing alongside him, which is why I think the Thunder are so hot to bring him in.
Right, but I still, to my point, or my counterpoint to yours, is that that's on the Cavs.
Yeah.
The Cavs have not roster constructed around him
Yeah.
to bring out his superpower. Now look, he might be that guy in OKC.
I think he would be.
But that would be a testament to their being able to identify what he is and what he brings to their roster.
Right.
And it would complement it so much. We've asked him to be the centerpiece. And I keep saying it, I just don't think he's ever going to be the centerpiece.
Yeah, I don't know.
How many years in the league now?
Mobley?
Yeah.
5 full seasons.
Aren't
right?
you kind
Right,
of what
Jason?
you're going to be after 4 or 5 years?
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. If they plug this man into that defensive principles that the Oklahoma City Thunder got,
Yeah.
you're not scoring, bro. You're not. Like you take a look. They got 2 elite rim protectors, and they ain't got stiffs as bigs. They would have athletic dudes that could contest on threes. You couldn't even move the ball fast enough. And the crazy thing about OKC is they got 75 dudes coming off the bench that can score. 75 wins.
Feels like it when you're watching them play.
And they got 82 first-round picks coming
And they
behind
got
them.
66 first-round picks.
How did we get here?
I don't understand, man. Get that man a Lifetime Achievement Award today.
And for that reason, I may never, ever want to make a trade with OKC. Because you know you're going to leave the room going, what the hell happened to my wallet?
Well, I mean, they just traded for Jared McCain at the deadline.
Yes.
McCain, who was back and forth between the G League and the 76ers.
Not anymore.
And they gave up 3 second-round picks and a first-round pick for him. And due to injuries to Jalen Williams, AJ Mitchell, he becomes their second best shot creator in a Game 7 of a Western Conference Finals. Like, think how ludicrous of a situation that is.
remarkable.
With that being said,
God.
Guys, if Sam Presti called me and I was Kobe Altman and offered this, I can't believe I'm the one saying I would do it.
I can't either, Mike.
I would do it.
Jay,
I would do it.
Where are you? We were hard nosed.
I would consider it. I don't like 17 is a little bit different in this draft than it is in other drafts.
Yeah.
It's a deeper draft. But like you guys know how I feel about like hypotheticals, and this whole day is nothing but hypotheticals.
Well, Mikey made it up.
But
I made this up. Yeah,
this isn't even like someone reported that this would be an offer.
Well, there is reported interest, and
there's reported interest. You went into the trade machine and you said this would work. Here it is. But there's not even a whisper that this is what they would offer.
The only way, I've said this before, the only way I believe Evan Mobley is not on this team if Donovan Mitchell walks into the office and says we have to do better than that.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's going to happen. Now, the honest thing, you can have that. We talked about that last week with Bull. Giannis has shown no indication he wants to be in Cleveland. So if you're trading Evan Mobley for Giannis, you're trading for 1 year of Giannis. And now you can bet on yourself.
Unless Deshaun Watson wasn't coming to Cleveland either.
Well, that was different. That was they threw more money at him than anybody else ever would.
Right.
So like you have 1 year to convince Giannis, like you're going to bet on yourself and say we'll get him in here and we'll convince him to stay. He's shown no indication he wants to be in Cleveland. I think that's too big of a risk, myself personally, to make that sort of deal if you don't have a commitment from him beyond next season. And I don't think the Cavs have an appetite to move Evan just for the sake of moving Evan. I think a lot of this stuff, I'm kind of surprised at how, like, and I know, like, 'tis the season, right? This is the season we're in where everyone just comes up with these crazy proposals.
Sure.
And I'm just looking at this going, outside of Giannis, man, I don't know that there's very many deals that the Cavs would consider for Evan. And even the Giannis one gives you hesitation because of his calf injury, yes,
and lack of desire to be here long term. The one other thing, and then I'll let you go, Mike, that I would say about that quickly is if you come to the decision, I don't think you're trading Evan because one team makes a deal that you think could work. You come to the decision to trade Evan if you, like me and others, have said, yeah, we thought his ceiling was maybe a low-end KD, and he's nowhere near that, and we're not going to win a title with him, so we're going to move him. And if that's the case, you put it on a billboard and you ask for 29 offers. And then you can take a look at it. And quite honestly, I don't think this would be I don't think OKC is best positioned to give them the best offer.
No.
So listen to everybody instead of just saying, oh, you want to do this deal? Okay, let's do it.
I don't know how much of a bet. Honest, I'm being serious here. When Jalen Williams healthy, I think he's a top 20 player in the league at the most premium position in the NBA.
The biggest part of that is when healthy.
So his career. So
remember when Ball came to Cleveland and we did the what's he going to be?
Yeah, but Lonzo Ball is an injury history.
Our answer by saying, I know it's different.
Hold on, Lonzo Ball has an injury history.
When healthy,
Jalen Williams had a lingering hamstring thing all year.
Yeah.
Before this year, he'd been an Iron Man. His first 3 seasons in the NBA, he's played 75 games or more in 3 of the 4 seasons.
But his most recent sample size was awful.
You need to apologize for comparing Jalen Williams
I'm not comparing
to Lonzo Ball.
I'm not comparing.
That is apples to automobiles.
It is. But what I'm saying is when you're making an argument and this happens all the time in sports, whenever you say the words "when healthy,"
okay, but it's a hamstring. It's a soft tissue hamstring.
I know, but hamstrings go away in the short term. But it's like a sprained ankle. When you do it once, hold your breath because it's coming again.
So
there's no indication that this is a long-term debilitating injury for Jalen.
Well, hold on.
There's also no indication that it'll never happen again.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Mobley's had a ton of injuries.
Mobley can pull a hamstring tomorrow.
Okay.
So let me ask you a question. If Jalen Williams is solid, one of the best wing defenders when healthy, he's been an Iron Man before last year, it was an aberration, then why would Oklahoma City want to move him then?
Well, I think for Oklahoma City, they know what their need is to compete with San Antonio, and his name is Evan Mobley. So if you're Oklahoma City, it's a smart move. And also, if you're going to get something, you know you have to give up something. But to your point, if he was that valuable, then they'd find another way to make that Evan Mobley move.
You've got SGA, you've got the other Jalen. Like you've got, they are so deep.
They're deep.
You can make a move like that.
Listen, if they don't want to give up Jalen Williams.
No, of course not.
But
the Cavs
to get a guy like
Evan
Mobley, and you can't give up all your picks because the Cavs don't want to give up Mobley or anyone. They're not in a rebuilding mode where they take, 10 first-round picks. You got to give up something to get
Man,
something.
give me that ain't enough.
But real quick,
you're gonna have to give me Joe.
And Jay wouldn't do it either.
I need
I don't
You
know.
said you'd think about it.
I don't know. I suck at hypotheticals. I hate hypotheticals.
I know, but that's the game we're playing.
I would consider.
I don't like them either because I don't think this will actually be a proposal.
No,
but-
I know. This is just
So you would say no also?
I don't know.
Feet to fire.
I don't
Feet to
know.
fire. You're the GM. You've got to decide.
Well, there's the negotiation that goes on with these things.
Let me just ask you guys this.
Nuancing your hypothetical.
I would do it for this simple reason, and it's not a no-brainer. I don't want to give up Evan Mobley, but when you look at and Jason pointed this out, wings are the most important position in basketball right now. When push came to shove in Game 1 against the Knicks,
I agree with that.
When the Cavs needed one stop, just one stop,
Couldn't get it.
Brunson kept attacking Harden, and after Game 1, he started attacking Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah.
Do you know who's better than maybe anyone else not named Desar Thompson in the league
know.
at guarding those kind of players? Jalen Williams. Lou Dort, attitude change. We all talk about the attitude change, the stuff he brings, the torture chamber. A, it helps Donovan never have to face him
love that
again.
name.
Yeah, that's a
And
great
B,
nickname.
you got a tough guy. We're never have to hear anyone say, well, the Cavs got punked again. And this draft's deep 17th pick in this draft. It's better than a normal draft. You could end up getting that. You have 2 first-round picks now in this draft. I would do this deal. I don't love it.
You know
but I
what
would do
my
this deal.
caveat to the trade would be? This would be the greatest trade ever. We're going to trade the 17th pick, but we want you to make it.
Yeah. I'm all
Because
for
you're way
that.
better at that than we are.
I don't know.
I'm all for it.
Like they found Jalen Tyson late in the first round.
I know.
They've done.
I know, but
they've
OKC,
done a nice. But nobody's
to me,
better than OKC.
OKC has written the book
Yes.
on how to do this.
Yes.
And I would want their consultation on who 17 should be.
This, you know me. I'm trying to fleece somebody. You ain't about to get no even
Well, you ain't
trade.
going to fleece OKC.
Well,
You're
okay,
right.
well,
why-
no deal.
And you know what? And that's why I'm not trading with you.
You got to give me Caruso. You gonna give me Caruso too?
Yeah, no.
You gonna give me Joe? You gonna give me Isaiah Joe too?
Isaiah Joe could be involved in this.
Okay. Well, listen. If you throw him in there,
Gee, like I said, the framework, Steve, take it one more time. This is the framework, the big names. The money doesn't equal dollar to dollar. This is the general framework. Then you can pick and choose some pieces.
But the pick would have to be a part of it, right?
They have 1,000 picks.
I would.
Yeah,
I would demand
Yeah.
multiple picks.
Yeah, I would too. That's why
Because
when
the
I first
Cavs
saw
are-
that, I'm like, that's all we would get.
Cavs are
I know
thin
you said
on-
they have a 12 and a 17.
They have 12 and 17.
Hell, ask for both.
The Cavs are thin on picks going
Yes,
going
very
forward,
thin
and
on
they
picks.
don't control their own.
And
picks.
if you can get 2 before 18 in a deeper draft, that'd be great.
But G, to your point, you be careful because we talked about this on the show before. 4 quarters don't equal $1 in the NBA.
Yeah, you're right.
And you start getting too many quarter players for $1 player. And I'm not calling Jalen Williams a quarter player. He's not. But when you start, okay, well, give me this, this, and this. Well, first of all, the Cavs don't have that many open roster spots. Secondly, you don't want to start adding quarters thinking it's going to add up to $1. It doesn't. You still need dollar players. And I do think that's changing a little bit with the cap situation, the aprons, and everything. And the way that you roster construct.
they got to be the right guys, though.
But I still would take $1 over 4 quarters in the NBA. And maybe in the NFL it's different. We'll get to that conversation.
Yeah.
Maybe 4 quarters does equal $1 in the NFL. But in the NBA, it's been proven historically. Yeah. Dollar players beat multiple quarter players almost every time.
well, let me do dollar for dollar. We'll let you go to break me Nuggets. You said, listen, well, give me Chet Holmgren then if you want that.
I mean, after what happened in Game 7, do you have any interest in Chet Holmgren?
Yes.
Yes, sure do.
I
Yes,
would
I
think-
do.
Come
Yes,
on.
I do.
Sam-
You would
Presti-
take in this deal. You take Chet Holmgren over Jalen Williams. If
Oh,
you just switch
no.
those two
No,
names.
no.
There's
He's not the centerpiece, but
If you're asking 2 different questions.
Yeah, those are 2
Do
different
you have interest in Chet Holmgren and then circle back to this deal? Those are 2 different.
yes.
Oh yeah, I mean in this deal, if we switched out the name Jalen Williams for Chet Holmgren,
No, I'm
yeah,
not
none
doing
of us
that.
are doing.
No,
none
I'm
of
not
us are
doing that. No way.
But they can't trade both because guess what? They both
Too much
have-
money.
Well, next year they both jump from rookie deals to max contracts. So you're not trading 2 max contracts for 1 max.
But you said out of your own mouth, McNuggets, that you believe Chet Holmgren is better than Mobley multiple times.
Yeah, I did, and now I'm really self-scouting myself. On
Now
that.
you so.
I'm not overreacting to one game,
Hey.
but that series was so. It wasn't just Game 7. Game 7 was a cherry on the top of what was a horrific series, and him and Wemby had bad blood. Like those two go back to, I believe it was the U17 FIBA World Championships. Holmgren on Team USA, Wemby on Team France. They got into it in the championship game. Team USA won. Since then, Wemby's made it his personal mission to put Chet Holmgren into the Batman, the hole of hell. Where did Bane rise from?
I don't know. I'm not.
What was the hole that Bane rose from? The Banish too.
Man, I'm supposed to know this.
I know.
Yeah,
But he was like, you like darkness? I was born in the darkness.
He's basically made it his whole goal.
Just hearing that voice is scary.
To embarrass Chet Holmgren. Holmgren was he looked like a guy on a second-year deal, rookie minimum contract, not a guy who just finished second in DPOY and made third team All-NBA. He was a non-factor, and it was it's tough to watch, but we'll see.
Yeah, if you're an OKC fan.